Every night for over 60 years, we've been shouting into the dark, radio waves, deliberate signals aimed straight at other stars. Every night for over 60 years, we've been shouting into the dark, radio waves, deliberate signals aimed straight at other stars. And the cosmos always answers the same way: nothing. Scientists call this gap the Fermi Paradox, the distance between how likely alien life should be by the Drake equation's own math and the total space silence we actually get. But what if that silence isn't empty? What if it's a warning, not a lack of aliens, a choice made by every civilization smart enough to survive long enough to make it? Picture the universe as a dark forest at night. You're a hunter, alone, rifle in hand. You hear a twig snap somewhere in the trees. You've got two choices: call out, "Who's there? I'm friendly," or stay dead silent, finger on the trigger. In an actual forest, that sounds paranoid. But over the last 2 decades, a small, serious group of scientists and game theorists have started asking a genuinely unsettling question. What if that paranoid instinct is actually the most rational way to think about the entire universe? Stick with me, because by the end of this, the silence up there is going to feel very different. Let's start with the assumption most people carry around without even questioning it. If aliens were really out there, we'd have heard something by now, right? Here's why that assumption doesn't survive contact with the actual numbers. Our galaxy alone holds something like 200 billion stars. We've already confirmed more than 6,000 planets orbiting other stars, with thousands more waiting to be verified, and that's only counting the ones close enough and lined up just right for us to spot it all. Now zoom out past the Milky Way. There are somewhere between 1 and 2 trillion other galaxies in the observable universe. Run those numbers through what's called the Drake equation, a simple chain of odds for how many stars form, how many of those have planets, how many of those planets could support life, how many of those get smart enough to build a radio dish. Even brutally pessimistic guesses at every single step still leave you with staggering numbers. Picture it like a lottery. Even if the odds of intelligent life evolving on any single planet are worse than winning that lottery twice in a row, multiply those odds against a number with 20-something zeros, and you're not left with 0 winners. You're left with a lot of them. Not a handful of civilizations out there, potentially millions. So here's the part that should feel unsettling. The silence was never supposed to mean nobody's out there. Statistically, that explanation barely survives, which forces a much stranger question. Not why is nobody out there, but why is everybody so quiet? Scientists have spent decades trying to answer that. Maybe intelligent life is rarer than the math suggests. Maybe civilizations burn out before they ever reach us. Maybe there's some filter, some deadly step, almost nobody survives. Every one of those answers describes a different kind of universe to live in. But there's one answer that doesn't blame rarity or bad luck or some invisible wall. It blames strategy on purpose. Here's the logic, and it starts with 2 simple assumptions. 1, every civilization's number 1 priority is survival, not curiosity, not friendship, staying alive. 2, civilizations grow. They need more energy, more resources, more room to expand, but the amount of usable matter in the universe doesn't grow with them. It's fixed, which means eventually growth turns into competition for the exact same stuff. Now add 2 brutal complications. First, you can never actually verify someone else's intentions. Light is fast, but the universe is bigger. A signal to a star 50 light years away takes 50 years to arrive, and 50 more for the reply. By the time you find out whether they're friendly, decades, maybe centuries have already passed. You're placing a bet you can't take back based on information that might already be a lifetime out of date. Second, technology doesn't creep, it explodes. A civilization that looks primitive today, barely off its home planet, could be centuries ahead of you within what amounts to a cosmic blink. The frog on the trail might just be a frog, or it might be about to grow teeth. Put those 2 problems together, and the safest strategy stops being reach out carefully. It becomes never announce yourself. And if you ever detect someone else doing it, silence them quickly before they become a threat you can no longer control. This is what's called the dark forest hypothesis, and a term that comes from a science fiction novel, but the reasoning underneath it is straight out of real game theory. And it's not just a story. Physicist Stephen Hawking once made a strikingly similar point. Reaching out to a more advanced civilization might play out the way first contact always has here on Earth, badly for whoever's less advanced, which means the forest isn't empty. It's just full of people holding their breath. Here's the part that should make this personal, because if the dark forest is real, we've already broken the first rule. In 1974, astronomers beamed a message from the Arecibo telescope straight at a cluster of stars 25,000 light years away, on purpose. It included our location, our DNA structure, a stick figure of a human being we have sent physical messages to, golden records bolted to the Voyager probes currently drifting through interstellar space, carrying maps that lead straight back to Earth. And every single day, for over 80 years, our own television and radar broadcasts have been leaking outward, unfiltered, into space. That's not a whisper, that's a shout. If the dark forest logic holds even a little, we didn't just fail to stay quiet. We stood up in the middle of the forest and lit a flare. And because of that decades-long lag we talked about a minute ago, we wouldn't even get a warning first. We'd just get an answer one day, out of nowhere, to a message we sent half a century earlier from someone who's had all that time to decide exactly what to do about it. Here's where it gets even stranger. Some scientists argue hiding was never actually on the table for anyone, not because of what we've broadcast on purpose, but because of what we can't help but broadcast. An atmosphere thick with oxygen, the chemical fingerprints of agriculture and industry drifting into our own sky. To a sufficiently advanced telescope, a living planet might glow like a signal fire, whether or not it ever says a single word. Which means somewhere out there, if any of this is right, someone might already be running the math on us, weighing exactly what a young, loud, extremely online species like ours is worth. Friend, threat, or just noise. So maybe the real question was never whether we should call out into the dark. That decision might have already been made for us decades ago by scientists at a single dish in Puerto Rico who never got to ask the rest of us first. Maybe the truest version of the dark forest isn't a choice at all. It's the discovery that you were never as hidden as you thought you were. And maybe that's not entirely bad news. A universe gone quiet out of fear is still a universe full of someone, full of other hunters and other trees, holding their breath for the exact same reason we might be. Maybe silence was never proof of an empty universe. Maybe it was always proof of a very, very crowded one. So here's the question worth sitting with. Long after this video ends, if something out there already knows exactly where we are, what do you think it's waiting for? Let me know what you think in the comments, and leave a like if you enjoyed the video.